Hello, welcome to another McLaren Fans podcast. This week we've got Andy Robinson. Say hi, Andy Robinson.
Hello, everyone.
And joining us again is another special guest, a friend of the podcast. Um, he's been on a few times before. Keith Muse. How are you doing, Keith?
Yeah, hi. Thanks for having me back. It's just lovely to be with you guys and
Yeah.
chatting everything McLaren.
Yeah, and I can see you've purposely sat outside of the MTC uh, just so that, you can watch all the cars going in and out and everything else.
It's like one of the old-fashioned Radio 2 road shows I'm on. It come on down.
Well, that's
Just
going back a bit. Yeah, I kind of remember that, but yeah. Right.
you're playing
Well,
absolute havoc with all the cars trying to leave, all the automotive workers trying to get out at the end of a shift.
oh yeah. Yeah. But it's quite good sometimes when you catch one of the test P1 cars or one of the Sennas going out for a quick sort of run around walking and back. Yeah, oh, that's quite nice. And then you see it slow down extremely slow to get over the speed bump.
And then hope you don't crash into it because you can't afford it.
Yeah, there is that.
No, can't even afford the hubcap. Yeah, I reckon we've got quite a lot to discuss since the last podcast. We've got a Lando win to discuss. We've got Lando not win to discuss. So, should we just jump into it? I've pretty much got my own views about what happened at the weekend and everything else like that. Yeah, why don't we kick it off with what's happened recently, and then we'll kind of track back from there and put it all together in that respect.
You say Lando win in Netherlands. It wasn't a win. It wasn't a slight 0.1 second win. It was a domination. It was we are the best team here by a long, long
Well,
mile.
I'm so sick of all of this like one team dominating that's going on. It ruins F1 and it's not good for the sport, blah blah blah. You know, yeah, I've actually seen some people on social media saying that, and you're just like, that's utterly ridiculous. And I think this weekend proved that it's not like a swap over from, oh no, it's McLaren's turn to dominate for 3 years. We're all quite close to Red Bull. Let's not, even though they didn't have a great weekend, let's not count them out. They've got a lot of points. They need championships are not won by winning every race. That's almost a bit of a Will Buxton there, isn't it?
Are they won by being on 13 out of 16 podiums so far this season?
Yes, consistency is what wins you championships. Yes. If you consistently finish first, like Verstappen did for a long time, you will win a championship. But if you're second, third, and first a few times and hitting those podiums all the time, you're going to win something. You're going to be in that fight, whether it's the Drivers' Championship or the Constructors, But yeah, I think my personal feeling is that we've not been in the Drivers' Championship, and we're not going to be. We're in the Constructors' Championship. We are not. Lando, what was he, 70 points behind Max before
Yeah,
this
with
weekend? Yeah,
a
he's
bunch of
gained
races to go.
some, but, you know, literally looking at it, Lando has to win every race to beat him because Max is not going to finish where he did this weekend every race. He's going to be second or third or first. But then also, Charles is going to be first. Lewis is going to be first. George is going to be first. Oscar's going to be first. And that's not realistic. That I'd love him to win a championship, but I just don't think it's his time. I don't think he's consistent enough either and got the mistakes out of the way to do it. I think come the end of the season, it'll be close. It'll be that there's maybe 12 points in it going the last race or something like that. But I can't see him winning it. If he wins it, I will quite happily come in on the podcast, hold my hands up and say, yeah, prove me wrong. Now, I don't know what you guys think, but I just feel we can win the constructors this year. That's since Miami, that's been our goal. Get as many points for the team as possible.
I'll let Keith jump in with what he thinks because I'm going to give you stats.
Yeah.
I do love stats coming in as well. No, I think the constructors. I think is definitely that should be our focus at the moment. I think we with that consistency, getting both guys up in the at the front. I think that's going to be all to play for. The championship, I kind of got a little bit dismayed this weekend. I didn't quite understand what Papaya Rules meant. And then today I've read more that the team are now going to officially back him. And then there was the no comment kind of routine on the sofas after the race as well. So I've got mixed feelings about that. But I reckon we should be really focusing hard on taking as constructors. And then next year we can iron out the gremlins and go again.
Do you remember right at the start of the season, Max was Bookie's favourite to win every single race of the year?
Yes.
Yeah.
You could put £1 on and get £1.10 back if he won every single race.
I indeed did put £1 on just to see what would happen with that.
Well, I put £4 on Lando to win the drivers' championship.
Right.
Right now, that was on 9th of December, something like that. Right now, Sky Bet will give me back 36 quid if I wimp out now and don't do it.
Right.
If I leave it, 104 quid.
Okay.
Ooh.
Sky Bet are scared of Lando winning.
I mean, I can't sit here and say it's not mathematically possible, right? And we've all been proved wrong. I remember when Vettel won his first championship, he didn't lead that championship till the last race, at the end of the last race, right? Look at Lewis when he won his first drivers' championship, last corner of the last race to get a 5th place. I think personally, I think we've got the fastest car. I think it works across a lot of tracks, and I think we are going to be there and thereabouts. Now, if Lando's on every podium till the end of the season and Max drops off like we've seen Red Bull drop off this weekend, then I think, there's a chance. But I still think that to claw back that deficit, something really has to go terribly wrong at Red Bull and for Max Verstappen. And it could happen, engine failure, anything. But therefore, it could also happen to us. There's no guarantee.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's 62 points that Lando's behind Max.
Yeah.
And that with 8 races left.
Yeah.
Just under 8-point difference swing every single race.
Yeah.
Now, what's the difference between first and second?
It's 8 points.
All he's got to do is win every single race, and he's guaranteed the win, right?
Yeah. And fastest lap.
And fastest lap. Fastest lap would be amazing. But as a McLaren fan, though, I'm a team fan before I'm a driver fan.
Yeah. Definitely.
Likewise. Yeah.
Yeah. Me too. Yeah.
The constructors, it's better for us money-wise, worse for us in terms of the penalty for the wind tunnel time and all that and stuff. But as a team, and as a team fan, winning the constructors, that is number one for me.
Yeah.
And we are looking very consistent, very, very consistent.
Yeah, I agree. I think Ferrari are more worrying me on that than Red Bull.
Yeah.
So, but then again, I also think the Ferrari are going to turn up at some tracks and be absolute gash.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be tracks where we're consistent all the way through. I think we've looked that way. We've looked that across all of the tracks. The podium record says that.
Yeah.
Facts.
Yes.
So if they turn around this week and they have a meeting at MTC, and maybe Keith can have a quick look through the window while he's there. Um, and they say, right, Oscar, remember Budapest?
Yeah.
Remember we swapped round. This is where you need to do the job for the team. We've got to get Lando. He's got our best chance for a drivers' championship, but I want you finishing the next position behind him every time. So if he's first, I want you second. If he's second, I want you third. That's what I want, right? There will be occasions where we can't do that because something's happened in the race and Oscar's miles ahead of Lando, and likewise.
Yeah.
But they're going to say we want consistent finishes now to the end of the season. And there might be that chance where we say, right, because of the Drivers' Championship, on the last lap, we might be swapping you over. Your time will come when it's your turn for this.
Yeah.
Oscar's not daft.
No.
He's not going to spit the dummy out. He's going to play that team game, right? Yeah, he wants. I think the thing is, he got his win in Budapest. If he hadn't had his first win, I think it's a much more difficult conversation to have and a much bitter pill for him to swallow. But if he can come away from this championship saying, I got my first win, I got so many podiums, I finished third in the Drivers' Championship in my second season. Oh, what?
And McLaren won the constructors.
Yeah,
That was him doing it.
yeah,
Yeah.
and he's been part of that. You look back in history, and you look at people like Coulthard. Was he a great driver for McLaren? Yeah, he was. He was brilliant for us.
Yeah.
He just had a much better driver in front of him at the same time. If Hakkinen wasn't there, he would have won championships, right? But Coulthard played the team game when he had to for meeting Hakkinen. Therefore, Coulthard goes down as a McLaren legend because of that.
Yeah. Do you know, so Oscar's manager, Mark Webber.
Yeah.
Mark Webber knows team orders. He
Yeah.
knows what team orders should do, and he knows the downside of people disobeying team orders.
Yeah.
Oscar's so level-headed. I think he's brilliant. Nothing seems to phase him outwardly. It might inwardly, but he processes it, and he's brilliant in the way he delivers everything.
Yeah.
I hope that Mark has had a chat with him. Like, team orders are important, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your
Play with
futures
the
with this team is to win a championship. You got to be with this team for a while.
Yeah. Do you think Oscar grew up obviously celebrating Mark, fellow Australian? So he wears heart no multi 21. That would have been ingrained. Like, he'll know.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, totally agree. What about you, Keith? What's your thoughts on it all?
Yeah, I'm absolutely with you guys. It's about that team game, and I do think he's level-headed. You can tell that they both think slightly differently, but there's so much haters going on at the moment saying, look, they're on the sofa, they're not talking to each other. They've just finished a long race and they needed to debrief like we do. They need to calm down. They've got to refocus and channel that energy. They're not hating each other. They're going to support each other. And they're going to do the team thing for McLaren. In my opinion, they both got given fantastic contracts by Zach because they know how to do this. And the two of them, young enough, great pairing, they're going to take us to heights that we haven't seen for a long time. And I think that's going to, and it will be a bit of a yin yang at times. I think they will have to support each other.
Yeah. And there's going to be, everybody's talking about like the Oscar overtake at the weekend. Was it too harsh? Was it whatever? All I would say is that, well, you know what? Lando, just don't leave the bloody door open.
Well,
he's not going to dive down there if you've not left the door open. Now at least Lando knows, all right, if I do that, he's going to try and pass me. It was close. Yeah, maybe they could have taken each other out, but they didn't. And when you look at the footage back, Lando has a bit of sort of oversteer or understeer or something, and the car wobbles, and that's what gets them close. Not Oscar overtaking. I'm not saying it's Lando's fault because the car's just done that, but Lando had a shocking exit out of the previous corner. You've got the slipstream down that straight bit anyway, and pretty much if you watch lots of Monza races back from before, the person in second position makes that move on the first lap every time. Lando should have been expecting that, even if it's his teammate.
Yeah.
And do you know what? The guy over your shoulder, Andy, he said it best. Like, if you see a gap and no longer go for it,
Yeah.
he saw a gap, he went for it. Absolutely brilliant overtake. And at the time, I was like, oh, please just be 1 and 2. That's all I cared about, 1 and 2. I didn't.
Yeah.
I did watch it. I did rewind it and watch it 3 or 4 times just so that I could get my head around. Because initially, my first reaction was, "What are you doing? What are you playing at?" And then that sort of focus comes in. You think, "Hang on, this is racing, and they are going to race each other properly." And then when you watch it back, you think, "No, you're right. There was a slide, there was a wobble, and that door was well open. And if you're not going to take that door, then you're not racing, are you? Let's be honest, you're going for it."
Yeah. And let's be honest, the door was so wide open that Charles Leclerc came through it as well.
Yeah, he was caught like the icing on the cake on the way through, yeah. And I shut it on my way past.
Yeah. And if anyone, if anything, that's what cost us a 1-2, that
Yeah,
corner.
Yeah.
Let's be honest, we all sat there thinking these tyres are going to go off for Leclerc. He's going to have to pit. They've had a go, but it never materialised. And that's let's be honest, there's a massive gamble by Ferrari, but they had nothing to lose.
Carlos, if Charles had done the same as Carlos with their times and the tyres, Carlos with newer tyres, they fell off. We both got past him. If the same had happened for Charles, 1-2. Everyone is a retrospective genius, no matter who you are. We knew they weren't going off. Of course you did. No one else did. Good luck to you knowing predicting that. No, fair play. We tried something. Might not work. Might not always work, but we tried something.
Literally, the worst he was going to come was third.
Mm.
As soon as we pitted Oscar, the worst he was going to come was third, because the gap behind, they essentially sacrificed Carlos for the possibility of a Ferrari win at Monza. And if Charles's tyres had gone off in the last 10 laps, they would have just brought him in. He would have come out, gone past whoever was, probably gone past Carlos, newer tyres, and finished third. So they had nothing to lose. They had a podium almost guaranteed, or first or third. And I think even the staunchest of Ferrari fan, if they'd had to have pitted, would have understood what they were trying to do at Monza. Would they have done that in Azerbaijan? Would they have done that in Zandvoort? Maybe not. But Monza, the Italian Grand Prix, I think there's a little bit of that comes into it as well.
Do you know what, though? Taking George's disqualification aside, we've
Yeah.
seen a couple of times this year that emergency one stopper to become a real possibility for a race strategy.
Yeah.
And the team now will understand not understand, that's really belittling on me, sorry. The team now have the experience of knowing, like, this is what a renegade could do. Complete out of the strategy, like, options. Let's just sit on tyres for 72 laps.
Yeah.
Just hope it comes along. It's that hard tyre seems just not to fall off the cliff. It seems to just carry on and then obviously get a bit too light, but
It seemed that we were destroying the front left for some reason.
And yet Lando still managed sneakily to set that fastest lap again on the last lap twice in a row now. Those tyres are going off, and as you said, the fronts were playing up, but he still managed to push it to its limits and take the fastest lap on the last lap, which is, where did it come from? Did he literally save battery and just banzai it? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to use the tyres after that, so you might as well ruin them completely.
Scrub them and ruin them, yeah.
Yeah.
So, Keith, one thing you said about was the fans' reaction to Lando and Oscar not talking in the cool-down room.
Yeah, I didn't like that. Yeah.
But when you're with your best mate, you can sit there for hours and not say a word, right? Because you're that comfortable in someone else's company. I don't think that's a bad thing, being silent around someone else. I don't think they're knackered.
I think it was I'm totally with you, Andy. I think it's a moment of reflection for us all. They are comfortable with one another. So actually just sitting there and processing the race and thinking and preempting those questions that they knew were coming, that gave them an opportunity just to breathe and settle down. I think people are reading so much into the body language, and they're not specialists, but they're reading into it. And then they're sharing their views, aren't they? Let's be honest, openly.
but also that
I've got to be careful with that, but yeah, you know what I'm saying.
yeah, in that cool down room, they're not gonna. They know that if they say anything to each other, it's recorded and it's live on
picked up.
TV.
Yeah.
They also know that there's a time and a place where they're going to have a chance to go, "You bastard! You nearly took me off the track."
Yeah.
Didn't. Blah blah
Yep.
blah. Right, and that's in the team debriefing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where they'll go, right, well, yeah, it was too close for comfort, or it was this. The whole, it's a snapshot in time, that photograph. There's even one where they look really miserable, just about to have the team photo taken together. But then there's another one where they look like they're laughing at each other and having a good time. The thing is, these guys are both racing drivers, right? And like you say, you're going to decompress. You're going to go out on that podium. You're probably thinking, right, okay, yeah, we might have had a win. Oscar could have won it. Lando could have won it quite easily.
Yeah.
Right? They didn't. They probably sat there thinking, fucking hell, how did Ferrari pull that off? Did we fuck
probably
up?
gutted.
And you know what? Lando is his own harshest critic. He's probably sat there thinking, I did this wrong, or I did this wrong, or I went off on this lap somewhere, or I ditched this. What did I do to make my tyres? He's probably sat there processing everything about his own race. And I wouldn't be surprised if Oscar does it as well, but just not as publicly. And, you know, you can read everything you want to in a photo and you can add as much context as you want, but in reality, none of us know what they were thinking.
Of course, and when we had the post race interview and the boss was with them, and that was fantastic. It was a cracking post race. They were there, they were sharing their thoughts, and you could see there was no animosity. They were literally just talking about how they were feeling, what the week, and how we're moving forward.
Yeah.
Positivity, that is it, Keith.
Yeah.
This season we have positivity all over the place.
Absolutely, and we need to, don't we? Because we are showing the world. We had years of people drawing papaya-coloured tractors and giving us a hard time, and people are saying, "Oh, this has happened out of the blue." No, it hasn't. This has taken years of development, months and months of brain teasing themselves, little tweaks here and there. We've watched this progression come through, and now it's come good. So hard work pays off.
Yeah, huge credit to everyone at the MTC and the track.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. Imagine putting in the hours and the days that you have to put in, no matter where you're coming, and you're coming last, and you come in last by 30 seconds, and you had to make some cake tin brake housing, and you've welded it on in Bahrain, and you know it's going to melt, but that's what you've had to do at that point, and you've spent every waking minute just making that.
Yeah.
Imagine coming now to this time where you've gone from that, or even the McHonda years, and now we're like, oh yeah, second and third. I'm still really happy with second and third. Genuinely, we cross the line. I'm like, yeah, amazing. It's second and third, another podium, taking the more silverware. Can't beat it. Can't beat it.
A few years ago, we were debating, would we get into Q3? Can we make Q3? And now we're at the top of Q3 and locking out the front row. So this has been in the making, and you're absolutely right. The positivity, and we're on cloud nine watching this amazing team progressing forward and forward and forward. It's just phenomenal.
Believe me, Keith, I still sit there and hope every week that we made it.
So do I. I'm not going to say I have a heart attack near enough every week.
Yeah.
When we do a single run in Q1 or Q2, I think we've made it. When we haven't had to do a second run in Q1 or Q2, I'm like, yeah, that is it. That is a sign of force. That is a sign of how fast we are.
Yeah.
And credit to every one of them.
That's a sign of pure confidence. Oh, and Lando's not coming out. And we're like, oh, yeah, because look at that time.
Yeah. And remember, we used to sit there and think, oh, bloody hell, Max, so arrogant.
Yep.
Not doing a second run.
Is he too good to come out, is he?
Yeah.
I used to put a bet on McLaren scoring a point, and I used to get really good odds.
Yes.
And it wasn't ever close. I'm so happy with where we are right now. Love it.
Yeah. Same.
But also, I mean, I'm still sat there going, right, okay, Azerbaijan, Baku next. It's a massive long straight. We're never that great on the long straight. So somebody, we're going to have Williams flying past us and Hasses and stuff. Yeah. I think whatever we had in our car earlier this season and last year that stopped us being fast on that straight is gone. we've nailed that. And I think I'm kind of hoping. So when I was out in Budapest, they had in the fan village part, they had the trophy, the driver's trophy. I would suspect it wasn't real because you could get pretty close to it, right? So I suspect it might be a replica, right?
Yeah.
Oh, it looked great. You can have your photo taken next to it, all that kind of stuff, right? Because if it was real, I'm sure they would have had two burly guards around it all the time. There was none of that. So I remember thinking, oh, this is the drivers' championship. That's great. But I was thinking, well, where's the constructors one? And I was thinking, I can't wait to actually see McLaren on that constructors. So I've seen drivers' championship,
Mhm.
but we didn't win the constructors that year. This feels like if we win the constructors and not the drivers' championship, that feels to me it equalizes that balance between how many drivers' championships we've won and the constructors then is level. And I'll feel a lot better in life because of that. But the thing that we can't rule out here is being complacent, thinking we're just going to win it.
Yeah.
Because and I'm going to throw this massive curveball in here as well, is that the Sergio Perez effect. And I see it going one. It can go one of two ways. He can either have a storming finish to the season like he's had previously, or there is something fundamentally wrong with that Red Bull because you see Max complaining about it a lot. Can't turn in corners. Can't do this. But I also wonder if that's a bit of gamesmanship and a bit of a hurry up to the team.
He moans a lot, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I know we went through GB2 engine kind of comments for a long time, but he moans a lot.
Yeah.
And it's more for demo. It's not me being bad. I'm really good. I'm world champion, but this car's really bad. And that's what I see it as.
Yeah.
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 By the way, that there will not be a single soul in Woking who is complacent. There is not a chance that anyone in management at the MTC has let anyone think that we have this. There is a fight.
Yeah.
And it's nice to be in it.
Oh, I love it. Yeah.
I'm with you. I love it. I'm just so proud of the team. It's just amazing turnaround. It's given us all goosebumps again. We've all got that kind of feel good factor. And to actually say we are constructors championship, we won, McLaren are number one, would be fantastic. And I don't want to preempt it, but I want it. I want it this year so bad.
Yes. Yeah. It'd be a great season for us. Even just one championship. Even do you know what? Even just being better than last year, which would be second or first, amazing.
Yeah.
We're improving, and we're
We are.
in the hunt. We turn up to every race weekend, and we're in the hunt somewhere in that weekend.
And that's
Happy
what it
days.
shows us, doesn't it? And that's what it tells us.
You know what I'm starting to notice as well that you see things like, oh, Friday practice. Oh, we're nowhere again. Yeah. They mean nothing, the times in there. You don't get points for the times in Friday practice. And you can see sometimes we're running through things and we're doing things slightly different to other teams, especially in FP1. It's almost a throwaway testing session, really. It's I guess it proved because you always that's when the rookie drivers get their chance as well and stuff like that. But, at the end of the day, I just want us to qualify well, race well, and like you said, we've got that podium record. I'd love us to keep that up to the end of the season because if that happens, we're in with a shot. It's not guaranteed. We're in with a shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it'll be great to see. But let's not be. It's got to be realistic. Mercedes are going to win some more races this year. Ferrari are going to win some more races this year.
Yeah.
Red Bull are probably going to win some more races this year because there'll be a track that suits them better than anything else, or they'll fix this issue that they've got.
Yeah.
They're not going to sit in this order I remember going to a talk once, and basically somebody said every time that car runs on the track, no matter what, no matter in session as well. So apart from when it's in part ferme, every time that car comes out, it's a brand new prototype of that car because something has changed on it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
It's not just for us; it's for all that. So we're essentially at this point, we're in a development race.
Mm.
We've
But
already started doing the stuff for the end of the season, and it's in the
yeah,
pipeline.
is it a big rule change at the end of the year? I can't remember.
Year after 26,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Okay, so
Got
this
another year with
car,
the rules.
yeah, that's it. So next year, imagine like if we take this development and we keep developing this year, next year is going to be insane again.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. But I don't even, even next year, I don't think we can be complacent because other teams will do well.
Oh god, yeah.
What we've got to iron out is that sticky part of the first part of the season for us.
Do you know what's funny though? Go back like 10, 20 years, we would always be able to outdevelop everyone else. Like
Yeah,
we were really good at taking whatever we started with and getting better. And we've done it again. We're back in that vein. Like, okay, we didn't start with the best car, but we started with a decent car, and we've
Yeah.
really outdeveloped everyone. That upgrade was it just before Miami that came, and we were
yeah,
like 10 seconds of that faster. I'm just going to say 10 because it's massive.
yeah,
That was an upgrade package and a half. Like I loved seeing that. Like the brains behind that have suddenly put that on the car with the confidence to know it's going to impact us. That is clever people.
yeah. And if people think, oh, it takes a couple of weeks to put something on the car, the Austria upgrades that we got last year that jumped us up the order massively were started in December.
Mm.
People were let go, and the concept of the car was completely changed. It took us half a season to get them on the car. So it's if something has or hasn't worked, we're lucky. We seem to be very lucky at the minute that what we're putting on the car works every time. And maybe some other teams are not quite having that luck. Certainly, Mercedes put something on their car, it didn't work very well. They've taken it off. Williams did the same not so long ago. And most of the people are saying that's what's happened with Red Bull as well. But I think there's other things with Red Bull there.
When you say Mercedes put something on their car, didn't work so when they took it off, is that Kimi Antonelli? Because that did not give a good upgrade.
No, you're talking probably about 5 or 6 races ago when they put an upgrade on, and it just didn't work on the car.
Absolutely tanked.
Yeah. I think he'll be a good driver, that Antonelli. I think he'll do all right. But
He will. No, he will. He's good in GP2, F2.
yeah,
Just a complete aside, Danny Ricciardo, ex-McLaren racing driver, great
Mhm.
driver. He weighed in underweight on the Saturday and the Sunday for his personal body for his weigh-in
yeah.
because he went for a diet of pizza while in Italy, and he tried eating like 8 pizzas, 2 every night, and he lost weight eating pizza.
What? Wait, hang on.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
Ricardo diet is the diet I should be on.
I want to adopt it. Yeah. So just for anyone and everyone that wants to lose a bit of weight, Danny Ricciardo says pizza. So I am going to have just pizza for the rest of my life. I think it's amazing.
Right.
I'm sold. I'm on it.
That's big news. Maybe I should open an Instagram channel and promote that.
Danny Ricciardo's pizza diet.
Yeah.
Sign up now. 1 month free. Sign up now.
Yeah. Right. We've got a few minutes left. Right. We heard at the weekend there's such a thing as papaya rules.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
If you could add your own rule to that, as stupid or silly as possible, what would it be?
Oh, I've got a sensible one while we think about silly
Give me a
ones.
sensible one, that's fine.
You're allowed to overtake as long as the car you overtake is directly behind you after the overtake.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
you can overtake each other as
Yeah.
long as you are then 1-2, not 1-3.
Okay. Fair enough.
I've always thought that one. A silly rule for papaya.
I'm trying. I can't get my head around this one.
How about this one, right? The driver that finishes behind the other one has to wear his cap backwards in every media interview.
Not explain it.
Yeah.
Oh, this just reminds me of the Fred and Zach moment. Who's going to be wearing a red cap? Who's got a papaya cap on? Bombing each other's photographs.
Yeah.
I think Papaya Rules then should be whoever doesn't finish in front of the other driver, not loses, but isn't in front of the other, has to get as many song titles or song lyrics into their media interviews as possible, and then for that weekend.
And the
Like
other
they do
driver
football teams
chooses
in.
the artist.
Yes, yeah, that'd be amazing. If I
Yeah.
beat you, I'm going to
Yeah.
choose Spice Girls.
Yeah, the secret
Right.
word has got to be used throughout the.
Well, you never know. They might listen to this. Yeah. Right. Well,
I'd love them to already be doing it, by the way. We just haven't noticed.
oh, I'm sure somebody would have noticed by now.
Absolutely.
Right. Well, that's the end of another podcast. Thanks for joining us, Keith and Andy, again.
Thank
I
you for
think
having
we'll
me.
probably do another one in October. I'm off to the Singapore race, so I'm looking
Woohoo!
forward to that. And I want us to win that. Because if you do, I'll be on telly jumping around. Look for me. I'll be like, yeah.
How would we spot you, Andy? Would you be wearing a certain?
I'll be the one wearing papaya.
Righto.
That'll
On a
be the
side,
giveaway.
on a side note, just as we finish, I was very lucky to get to the F1 show at the Excel Centre. And if you haven't been, I would say have a look at it. McLaren are very, very well associated with it. We've got so much McLaren stuff in there, so much history about the McLaren. We really are quite a prominent part of that display, and it was really great to see. It really was. It was, and when we went out there, it was always papaya. We saw more papaya than any other colour. On that note, shush, Keith.
Bye.
Take care.